1 week of free agency is in the books, and fast and furious is an understatement. And we got breaking news into the Flex Zone podcast sports desk. The Baltimore Ravens have a new backup quarterback for Lamar Jackson. Who will it be? Let's just say, what a rush. It's the Flex Zone podcast, Sundays with Crevonte. If you know, you know. Hop on now before it's too late. We're getting this sports train moving on your Sunday as it's Selection Sunday. And thank you for selecting the Flex Zone podcast on your airways and on your YouTube streaming devices. It's the Flex Zone, Sundays with Crevonte. You guys know the vibes. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. We're going to do it better than anybody does it on YouTube. I don't need to sell you. You're here. You're not anywhere else. Let's get to it. It's the Flex Zone. The music is right. The topics are even better. Let's get to it. Spending that money quicker than teams are spending it on those free agents, Crevonte, like it's going out of style. It is not only the Flex Zone podcast, but it's Sundays with Crevonte. And what do we do as always, each and every day? Give you sports how you want it, Crevonte?
When you need it.
Happy Sunday, my good brother. Happy Selection Sunday to you, my guy.
Indeed. Same to you as well. We got some rough news yesterday, but we're gonna keep pushing it. It ain't gonna stop. It ain't gonna stop what we need to do. It ain't gonna stop what they need to do, but we'll get into it.
Real quick, not to divulge too much on the college basketball. We'll talk to it later. Speaking of goofy, Crevonte, Maryland 25-8. Of their 8 losses, Crevonte, 4 have been buzzer beaters. So there you go.
And in the tournament, it may come down to the last second or two, you know. So that's not great moving into the NCAA tournament or the big dance. But you know, 25-8 is nothing to sneeze at. They've had a great season, arguably the best starting 5 in the country. And so Maryland has something to be proud about. For haven't been able to say that in a while, but it's something to be proud of. Maryland basketball is back.
Yes, sir, and he is back. And of course, I got to play his theme song because he is the Commander Lorian.
Those haters can't stand us. Left hand Commanders.
Well, Crevonte, I usually throw a little quip in about your Wiz, but I cannot today because do you know, and I'm sure you do, they are 2-0 against the Denver Nuggets. Can you believe it? Of all teams.
It's one of those very ironic things where, because we only have, I think, 15 wins on the season, and 2 of them are to arguably one of the better teams in the Western Conference and in the league. Excuse me. Is absolutely absurd. And the fashion in which they beat them the last time, Jordan Poole of all people, man, he was like 35 feet for the game. Crazy. But that's how the irony works, man. Just how? Because we are nowhere near a team that's competing in the NBA for real. But somehow we beat the Nuggets twice. I don't know.
There we go. I was trying to find a shot for you, Crevonte, for the good people.
He just hit it.
Yeah, it's gonna run again. But Jordan Poole, man, that brother can play, man. That brother can play. Whatever the goofiness he made, he can shoot. He can score.
He can. Yes, absolutely. He probably should not be your leader of your team. But if you're going to be a legit contender to compete, but the ball can hoop. No, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The ball can hoop. The ball can put the ball in the hoop, whether it's scoring, shooting, or whatever. I mean, we saw him with the Golden State Warriors, but he should not be the best player. He should not be your best player, though. If he's like maybe number 3 on your team, you're probably a contender. You know what I'm saying? But him being your best player, you are where the Wizards are if he's your best player, unfortunately. But he can hoop straight up on the individual side of the game. He can hoop.
And hitting on some of those draft picks too, not to make this too much about the Wizards, but they've hit on some of these young guys. I mean, they may not be the household names yet, but Sar, Koulibaly, Keontae George, Bub Carrington from Baltimore, they got some nucleus of players. If they can continue to develop, they could be something. I mean, it's the East, and we'll see where the ping pong balls fall in a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's gonna be interesting. They keep saying, Wizards flag and Hornets or Hornets flag shoot. He might stay in Duke messing with y'all.
6-4 in their last 10. And look at Mr. Sar, 34, 5 threes made, 5 assists, two steals. He was the guy they picked at number 2. Was a weak draft, but looks like they made a pretty solid selection. Having that force down low is good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially at a time where the big man is not really a position anymore. But maybe we can, switch things up. And but like you said, developing these guys, the nucleus is young, our core is young, so that's good. Moving forward and all that. So we'll see the Wizards where the Wizards are next, couple years or so. But man, we got if we get that number 1 overall pick, whoo.
6-4 in their last 10 road games. Yeah, 6-4 in their last 10 road games, 13th ranked defense. And Crevonte, I know everyone loves Cooper Flag, but I'm telling you, if this is the draft you want to be in that lottery, you may not get Flag, but you got a lot of good players. For those who may not know, you got Dylan Harper, Ron Harper's son, Crevonte. He's pretty good, a young guard. You got Ace Bailey, of course, Derek Queen down in Maryland. You got a couple of guys. Obviously, the international flavor is there. You know it's going to be a couple of guys there. So,
yeah, for sure. So yeah, this is a good. These small victories are good for the trajectory of the Wizards. Again, unbelievable, nonetheless. But I do like the direction. I mean, it's only up from here, right?
yes.
But yeah, so it looks like the Wizards will be able to pick up a good talent in the next draft, which is good. And things have switched up. Things have significantly changed, post All-Star break. You know what I'm saying? That's when things started shifting after the trade deadline, after All-Star break. Things have gotten better. So I mean, again, Raj. That's all we can hope for, man. All we can hope for.
Hey, man, the future may be bright in D.C., not only for the football team, but for the basketball team as well. But let's go up north. Let's start with those Ravens, Crevonte, because we have breaking news just before we went live. I had to adjust some of what I was doing or wanted to talk about. So appreciate you being flexible, my guy, improvising and adapting. But we do have breaking news as the Baltimore Ravens have a new backup quarterback. Crevonte, and you know him very well. You've seen him a couple times even, filling in the NFC East for the Dallas Cowboys. Cooper Rush. We wondered who Lamar's backup was going to be. Not really a major need, but obviously depth. That's what the Ravens need at this point. Cooper Rush, Crevonte, over a guy like maybe Joe Flacco or Trey Lance, I've even heard as well. What do you think about this move out today?
It is it's an interesting move. Not who I would think would be backing up Lamar Jackson, but it's a depth move, and all NFL teams could use some depth at certain positions, but it's a one where not necessarily sideline, but like you got a little confused look, because if anything was to happen to Lamar Jackson, I don't know how much faith you would have in somebody like Cooper Rush, but he has proven that he can start some games and win some games. I mean, me being in NFC East, being a Commanders fan, I've seen him a couple times, and he's won quite a few games I didn't think he was going to win. So you got a guy with some experience in filling in, winning some games. As a backup quarterback, you're just there to keep it afloat. You're not trying to nosedive. Your starter goes down, 4 weeks or so. For those 4 weeks, you're just kind of keeping it afloat. Try to win. Try to split 2-2 to the number one guy comes back, and he can do that. But typically, you want somebody of the body type. Well, maybe not the body type, but the skill type of Lamar Jackson. And I'm not sure if Cooper Rush is that. but nonetheless, you got better at backup quarterback, I guess you can say.
Darius, thank you. Big Reg, Raj, everybody, thank y'all joining us. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. It's funny, you think about Cooper Rush and like, well, he's a backup, but I was like, well, I do remember him winning a lot of games with
Absolutely.
the Cowboys. And I mean, I'm not saying this as a biased fan or, sitting being subjective or anything. The Ravens roster is better than the Cowboys. They have one of the better rosters in the NFL. So
Yes.
if this brother was able to produce, obviously, CD Lamb is elite at his position, so getting the ball to him is different. But if the Ravens are able to, you got Ronnie Stanley back, you got the offensive line basically coming back, Crevonte, like we've talked about. It's a 2-year deal, only $12.2 million. And I did want to Google his record.
Go Google it.
He is, Crevonte, and I'm going to pull it up so the people can see, 26-12 as a starter. 26-12, 9-5 as a starter, 4-1 in 2022, 1,844 pass yards in 2024, which he played the bulk of. Remember, Dak was hurt. 12 touchdowns to 5 picks. So he's not going to turn the ball over. He's going to make the safe plays. He's not a statue per se, not the most athletic guy, but like I said in the chat earlier, and you can attest to it, I don't want to see that brother anyway unless we're blowing somebody out or things are clinched anyway.
Right, because he is coming to be the backup quarterback. If you're seeing him, something has gone wrong. So you don't want to see him, but he's a guy who has some experience, and he's played in one of the tougher places, to play as far as like criticism and media is concerned. So he has experience with that, being when Dak was out, all that time, and we saw him. So you got some good experience behind Lamar Jackson, which is not, a terrible thing. And you paying him $6 million, pretty much $6 million a year. You're not paying him $10 million a year or anything like that. So it's okay. It's definitely meh, because we're talking about a backup quarterback, but I can see the improvement of the backup quarterback position, which we all can use.
Well, let's keep it moving. The Ravens, I'm saying they're running it back. That's the theme. They're running it back, Crevonte. They're re-signing their own guys, but they bring in DeAndre Hopkins, but not from 2010 like we know in Houston or in Arizona with our boy Kyler Murray. Remember those days, catching Hail Marys over people's heads, game winners, and probably the best contested catcher at the time, maybe since a Calvin Johnson or an Andre Johnson or Larry Fitzgerald, whoever you want to put in that conversation. Four-handed guy, not the best with speed and getting separation, but DeAndre Hopkins, a Baltimore Raven, said he wanted to play with Lamar. How do you feel about this move? Only a $6 million deal, really 5 up to 6. He's your wide receiver 3, by the way. You still got Flowers, Bateman, 2 great tight ends, a really all-pro, Hall of Fame caliber running back, and the MVP at quarterback potentially. And the O-line is bringing everybody back too. And they bring back Pat Ricard, the fullback.
So, yeah, literally and figuratively, the Ravens are running it back, which I don't think is a terrible thing. DeAndre Hopkins, yes, he is. I think it's safe to say he's left his prime. And I know Lamar Jackson was one to say like he's been looking for like a big body receiver, and DeAndre Hopkins is not as tall as I thought he was. He just seemed he played so much bigger, at least during his prime years. He played so much bigger than what he actually is. He's just a little bit over 6 feet, I think 6'1" maybe. He plays like he's 6'3", 6'4", but You're not bringing him in to be your number one guy. You're not bringing him in to be your number two guy. So he slides in at number 3. He still got maybe not as sure hands because the Super Bowl he dropped the easy one. He dropped the real easy one, and he had some of the sure hands in the league. When he was on it. But him being your number 3 guy, you're not looking for him to be 2010, 2015, or Arizona Cardinals DeAndre Hopkins. We just need you to come in from time to time. He's still gonna show flashes. He not all gone. So that is somebody you still have to look out for, because you can scheme him open real easy. And it's like, dang, that is still DeAndre Hopkins. He still got a little bit left in him. So I think it's an upgrade, small upgrade, but him being your number 3 guy, I believe is a win for the Ravens, because you don't have to. He's not a diva or anything like that. He's just trying to win. So I think he's going to fall in line.
And then as well, we see Ben Cleveland bought back. Like I mentioned, they bought in Cooper Rush. You bring back Ronnie Stanley. Most importantly, you got Ricard back. Derrick Henry still there, as I mentioned. You got the receiving core. Andrews is staying, guys. He's not going anywhere. Okay, you got Likely. This offense, Crevonte, where could this offense go? Let's think about it. Year 3 with Lamar. Year 3 of the same offensive coordinator. A guy I loved coming out when it got Todd Monken. We know about what he did at Georgia, back-to-back national champion. He's translated that to the NFL. He probably has at least one more year here before he maybe gets a coaching job, but he's a little older. What do you think about this offense maybe evolving in year 3, Crevonte? Can they get even better potentially?
Absolutely. The sky is the limit for the Ravens offense because of who they have at quarterback and who they have at running back. Derrick Henry is arguably the second best, first best, depending on who you talk to, between him and Saquon as 1 or 1A, 1B at running back. And Lamar Jackson, he's an MVP candidate every single year. So the goal is to get the most out of those two. And if you have the threat running, you have the threat passing, this can easily be once a top 5 offense, a top 5 total offense, not even just the running game, because we know what Derrick Henry provides in the running game. So easily, I'm penciling in the Ravens as a top 5 rushing attack. And along with Lamar Jackson still being able to use his legs, definitely a top 5 rushing attack. Now, the passing attack is what's going to be interesting. Lamar Jackson had about 4,000 yards. I think he had 4,000 yards total of offense. So, probably almost 5. He almost 5.
With passing and rushing, almost 5,000, Crevonte.
Almost 5,000. Right. So you add in his legs, you add in his arms. He's throwing the ball a lot more. His receivers are getting down the field. He's showing a little bit more accuracy. We could get a little better with time management, but that's a coaching thing. But the offense is still going to be a top 5 offense in this NFL, as long as Lamar Jackson's continuing to play like a MVP candidate, which arguably probably should have won this past one, but it is what it is. And Derrick Henry rushing for damn near 2,000 yards. And now you add in DeAndre Hopkins as a third weapon. You got weapons all over the place now. You know what I'm saying? It's just finding a way to be consistent and keep the penalties and the turnovers low. I think that'll be one thing that could be in the Ravens' way, is the penalties and the turnovers. Without those, this is a top 5 offense putting up 30, 35 points a game. That's where this offense could be.
Yes or no, Crevonte? D-Hop is better than Odell was when the Ravens got Odell.
Yeah, to be determined. We'll see. Because Odell, man, that's tough. Because the injuries jacked up Odell, and I didn't like what I've seen from DeAndre Hopkins before coming to the Ravens. I didn't like the last thing I saw from him. So that's tough to determine. I would say they're in the same ballpark though. They're in the same classroom. I don't know which row they in. I don't know how close they are to the chalkboard, but they're in the same classroom.
We'll see. We shall see. You see the viral pics spoken into existence. So you got all three of them together, and we'll see how it plays out. Now, Crevonte, let us do a little bit of. Let's go around the AFC North since we're already in the division. The Ravens got to be sitting back looking pretty. I don't think a lot of Ravens fans realize the position that they're in. You look at the Browns. I mean, do I need to do it? Do I need to do it? Okay.
Come on.
Stupid. Just stupid. Well, now that's goofy.
I mean, yeah, they got Myles Garrett, and they're talking about still taking the quarterback at number 2. Crevonte, if I'm picking at 2, first of all, I'm pimping the Giants to trade up to get a quarterback. I'm going back to 3, and I'm taking Abdul Carter, and I'm putting him with Myles Garrett, and I got one of the best pass rushers in the league, duos.
Absolutely. You got to pimp. Listen, that for the Patriots, that'd be great for the Patriots and the Browns if they could somehow convince the New York Giants to move up.
And you know they desperate, Crevonte. Look at what's going on.
It's perfect. It's perfect. Get them. Like the Browns should be talking up both quarterbacks at this point. They should be talking up both of them just so. And hell, maybe the Giants would slip up. Not even slip up. But they might even go to 1. Who knows? But you want if the Giants move up from 3. Whether if they choose they go with the Titans or the Browns, that's a win, and that definitely went for the Browns because you got to get picked. You're gonna get more picks, move back one, and still get Abdul Carter. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
That's a little tease. I have just to let you know, Crevonte. I've started watching some of the players we've mentioned. I like what I've seen from Mr. Carter. I know he's like the number 1 overall player. He's a difference maker. I know you said it's a lot of elite guys at non-elite positions, but he's one of those elite guys at an elite position.
In a premium position.
and I'm not gonna lie, he didn't. I mean, Maryland's Maryland, but he didn't really jump off the film watching him when they played Maryland. But looking at him, he has the disruptor capability. I mean, you put him next to a Myles Garrett, sky's the limit. Let's go to Cincinnati, Crevonte, real quick. I know the Browns are still the Browns. They'll still win 5 games, but if that, I told Louis T, I told Raj, I told Dre, I've been telling y'all for over a year since this happened last year. I said the Bengals are going to keep T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. The Bengals are going to keep T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. I don't know how. I don't know where they're getting this money from, like the Ravens or the Lakers and these draft picks, but they're going to keep, as goofy as it may be, they may score 70 a game, Crevonte, and Joe Burrow's going to be the happiest man on earth. He's paid, his receivers are paid, but they ain't going to be able to stop nobody. Cincinnati, I think they could even take a step back, even with that offense, if they keep it intact.
Well, the Bengals have a weird trend of starting off slow, and I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I don't know how, but they have to start off quicker because if they didn't start off 0-3, I don't even know when they won their first game, but I know we played them for their 3rd game, and that's when Jaden Daniels made his mark on the football world. And they dropped to 0-3. If they stop starting 0-3, 0-2, they'll be in a much better position than what they end up being by the time the end of the year comes. But the offense is going to be crazy. You are absolutely right. And I was like, Byron, you and the Bengals are crazy. Yeah, that's what it is. Like,
hey, call me goofy because I'd probably do the same too. Trey Henderson, you don't want to be here? All right, we'll get somebody else. We'll get another white boy that get at the quarterback. I want my 2 receivers who are 2 top 10 receivers with my top 5 quarterback, and we're gonna go out and play ball.
Yeah. But this is why I think I like to think with your football mind that you would be a lot smarter than the Bengals are and putting themselves, because listen, it's funny, I just said the Bengals keep starting off slow. The Bengals are historic for doing what they've always done, not paying their people on time and not end up losing great players. And they could have had Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Trey Hendrickson all under contract by now with reasonable contracts. Now somebody got to go. Now, I thought it was going to be T. Higgins. You said, it ain't going to be T. Higgins. I don't know who's going to be. It ain't going to be T. Higgins. That's what you said, which basically saying Trey Henderson is the odd man out. But I like to think that you would have been smarter with their contracts than the Bengals, and you've been able to keep Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and all your guys, and you continue to build now. But now you got to lose one of them because Jamar Chase, he's going to get pushing 40. He gonna be probably the highest paid non-quarterback. And no thanks to the Browns again. The Browns messing it up for people. The Bengals. Now you got Trey Henderson, a top tier pass rusher. Myles Garrett just got $40 million. Trey Henderson is going to demand money, and Jamar Chase is going to demand top tier money. So you were right with the T. Higgins. I was like, T. Higgins out the door. I was hoping T. Higgins would be a commander at this point, but you was right. You was right. I can't believe you was right. But again, the Bengals continue to be the Bengals. Yeah, they put themselves in this situation literally all the time.
Yeah, you bring in a D coordinator like Al Golden from Notre Dame, who just won the national championship, and you don't give him any players to work with. And Crevonte, I know we talk about the draft, we do draft profiles, and people have these, these prospects are going to do this and do that. When was the last time the Bengals hit on a defensive player out the draft? They missed on a lot.
That's tough. That's tough. And even if they did, do they keep them? At deep, I don't know what it is, and that's a GM that's a GM's concern. But I don't know the last time they hit on a defensive player. Where was Trey Henderson? Where was he picked?
He was picked. Remember, he was a Saint. He was a Saint, Crevonte. He was a Saint. He signed in free agency. He was a Saint. He signed in free agency. Got paid by the Bengals because he was an ascending player. Saints, we know how they can be goofy with their cap. They let him go. He walks to Cincinnati and he has a breakout. Yeah, I always thought he was a good player, but he really has, stepped into his own.
Dang, you're right. So I think maybe this is the way. I guess historically, this is just how the Bengals they hit on offense and they go to free agency for defense. I guess this is just how they go, but they got to drive better defensively. Otherwise, they're going to end up winning their games 48-45, and they scoring 45. That's how it's going to go.
Real quick, third round pick was Hendrickson out of Florida Atlantic by the Saints in 2017. So he's only 30 years of age, so it's not like he's getting old, but yeah, so that is interesting as well. And real quick, let me go back. I had Hopkins' numbers on his injuries. I know some fans were wondering about him being a hurt guy. He actually hasn't missed as many games as I thought, Crevonte. Real quick, he's only missed 11 games due to injury in his career. Through his 12-year career, this is year 13 for him. 2013 through 2020 with the Texans only missed 2 games. 2021, when he was traded to the Cardinals, missed 7 games. 2022 missed 2 games. 2024 missed 4 to 6 weeks, and then 2022 was suspended for 6 games and only missed 3 games with the Chiefs.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, so he's not a hurt guy too much.
No. And any major injuries? I don't think there was any major injuries, but Odell had the big one, with the whole ACL thing. So at least in that way, health wise, you're definitely getting a better receiver. Big Red is right, man. The Bengals gonna have to end up renting out the stadium to pay these folks.
All right, let's get to the last team in the division, the Steelers, Crevonte, because I don't know what they're doing either. They get, Mr. DK Metcalf, or as Raj calls him, Donkey Kong, because he's, the newly engaged Mr. Metcalf, by the way, to Normani. So congratulations to them. Aww. He's wearing number 4. Who's going to throw in the ball, Crevonte? Because last time I checked, they're bringing you in tomorrow to discuss the position. Listen, Big Reg, man, anybody in the chat? Raj, I don't know. Anybody here watching? KD, anybody?
Man, I don't envy whoever take this job at quarterback because you got to crash out kings at wide receivers. And I think Aaron Rodgers would be a terrible pick. Yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers would be a terrible choice at quarterback for this team because if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, this will be
Which
the
I
most.
did say was going to happen. I did a video on it weeks ago. I said
You
it's going
did.
to happen.
Indeed,
So, ready
but
for the goofiness.
if they pick him up, this would be the most finger pointing, non accountability taking offense ever. Because George Pickens crash out, he has a crash out moment every week, and DK get busy with whoever trying to check him on the other side, like at the same time. And then you got Aaron Rodgers, who is not the best leader ever, not even close. Who he's a finger pointer. So I think that'll be a terrible I think that would be a terrible, like, intangible for the Steelers to have. And I think Mike Tomlin likes drama. I'm gonna say it. I think Mike Tomlin likes drama.
Look at him. Look at him. He taking pictures with him. Look at him. He taking pictures with him. Darius
likes,
Slay. You got Darius Slay, another old guy.
He likes drama. He likes drama, especially at the wide receiver position. Like, the Steelers historically have had great wide receivers, but man, they be having issues. And Mike Tomlin, that's why he ain't got no hair. That's why he ain't got no hair, because he like drama. And I don't know who they're gonna get to quarterback this team, but good luck. Good luck.
Well, they did re-sign a Pittsburgh veteran and traded for too. They signed Mason Rudolph and they traded for Super Bowl winning quarterback. Oh, that was the Browns. They traded for Kenny Pickett, but Mason Rudolph back to the Steelers and Kenny Pickett to the Browns, by the way. So there you go. A lot of movement in the AFC North.
I guess, man.
I'm ready to pick the Ravens by 3 games by that right now. I am. I mean, I'm just saying. Aaron Rodgers twice. This is a dream come true. I could see Aaron Rodgers possibly twice a year. I mean, the Bengals are going to be fun as always, but we beat them too. Lamar, he's their kryptonite, and the Browns. I mean, Harbaugh and Lamar own the Browns too. So I mean, come on now.
Yeah. I think the Ravens should probably wrap this division up relatively quickly. As long as they stay healthy.
Which means something goofy will happen. So let me shut up.
Which means it's going to go down to week 19.
Yes, let me shut up.
Week 18.
Yes, let me shut up.
Because the Ravens getting their own way a lot of the times, and for somehow, some way, the Steelers have been Lamar's and Harbaugh's kryptonite. So no matter how crazy, insane the team, week 19 is crazy. But week 19 would be a playoff game, pretty much, right? So
soon, you're speaking into existence. It's coming.
Oh man, so now, but week 19 will be a part of the season now. So, but anyway, it's really hard to predict, and no matter how goofy the other players, the other teams, organizations in your division are, somehow, some way, the Ravens are going to lose like three games that they shouldn't. And it's like, why is this so close? But I still think the Ravens are going to win a division. It just may not be as convincingly as it looks now.
Still a lot to go through. We got the draft and all the other fun stuff. And, of course, the next wave of free agency. But, Crevonte, let's drive down 95, gas up the pacer, and let's get your opinion on this photo edit, as he will be keeping number 78, Laremy Tunsil, the new blindside protector for Jaden Daniels.
That's one big son of a bitch! No bread, no water, just me.
Well, Crevonte, the Commanders are making moves. Let's go over some of the moves. They are bringing back a lot of their own as well. Marcus Mariota, Jeremy McNichols, Noah Brown. He's back, Crevonte. KJ Osborne as well, Zach Ertz, John Bates, Michael Dieter, Trent Scott, Sheldon Day, Bobby Wagner, Leland Farrell, Noah Inglewagne, Kevin Seymour, Nick Bellore, Zane Gonzalez, and of course, our guy, the number 1 punter in the world, Tress Way, is back with the Commanders, which we love as well. And they've added Laremy Tunsil via trade. He has two more years on his current deal. Debo, last year of his current deal. Javon Kinlaw, 3-year deal. Will Harris, 2-year deal. Jacob Martin, 1-year deal. Jonathan Jones, 1-year deal. Eddie Goldman, 1-year deal. Dietrich Wise, 1-year deal. And Nate Herbig, a 1-year deal as well. So a lot of 1-year deals. So not stupid long-term contracts for big money with Adam Peters. You're seeing some of these moves. How do you feel about the Commanders after the first week? I know they made a lot of under-the-radar moves, but maybe even do you approve?
I am completely in trust with whatever Adam Peters feels like he needs to do. Because I mean, we were from picking number 2 overall to picking 29th. That's a huge improvement. He could do whatever he wants. I'm be like, okay. The only thing was well, not the only thing, but Kinlaw, I thought it was a lot. I thought it was a bit much on the money side of the game, but it's probably about what the market was looking for. I think Adam Peters has a number that he sticks to at certain positions, and he's not willing to go over that number. So quite a few people have walked, i.e., Dante Fowler, Jeremy Chin. But I think Dante Fowler probably also did it to himself by taking it to Twitter. That's not a good move. But now he's back with the Dallas Cowboys on a 1-year, $8 million deal. It is what it is. We were also in the running for, obviously, we probably gonna hit. I don't know what the NFL is gonna do about the tampering thing, because we got caught. We got caught. We tried to put that bid in for Ronnie Stanley and gave more money than what y'all offered, but he remained loyal. So no, nothing wrong with that. But I know it was us, the Chiefs, and the Patriots are probably gonna get hit with something. Because we were definitely tampering before the legal tampering period. But one thing I like about Anthony Peters, because that was our plan A, and he had a plan B. As soon as Ronnie Stanley signed, he pivoted. He did a pivot. Larry Tunsil was the backup plan. Not a bad backup plan at all. We had to give up a lot of capital, which I'm sure he did not totally like, but protecting JD5 is the number one priority always. And then, we go to the defense side of the ball. Listen, man, I don't think Adam Peters was too fond of us getting ran over most of the year. Like, we was not a good run defensive team at all this year. And we got in a lot of big bodies, a lot of big space eaters, and a lot of people who have been brought in specifically to stop the run. He brought in a lot of big guys and re-signed a lot of big guys. And we got a nice little rotation at defensive tackle and on the D line. We picked up Jonathan Jones. He's a great rotational guy at corner. But we are going to struggle. I foresee this. We are going to struggle rushing the passer. I think that is what we're going to struggle at is roughing. I'm not roughing the passer, rushing the passer. We should be a lot better at stopping the run. We should be significantly better at stopping the run. But on 3rd and long, where we need a guy to get through, I think it's going to be a tough one. I think it's going to be tough, especially with us letting Dante Fowler go. So we're going to have to get some guys. We have to pick. We're going to hit some draft picks. And also, like you said, we have a lot of 1-year deals, which means we got to get some youth in here, because all those 1-year deals are 30 guys who's 30, 31 years old. So we got to get some youth in here. But as you know, we only got 5 picks. We only got 5 draft picks. And I know Adam Peters, he's one of those guys that like at least 7. I'm sure he would like at least 7. And this leads me to believe that I think Trey Henderson is out for us. I don't think it's going to happen for us, because I think those first 2 picks, our 29th pick and our 61st pick, I believe, our first round and second round pick, are very valuable. And valuable not just in the type of player that we could get at those positions, but in possibly trading back and getting more picks, which Adam Peters loves to do, because Adam Peters' specialty is hitting on those players' gems in rounds 3 to 6 and 7. You know what I'm saying? Hitting on late round guys. We have a 6th round and we have a 7th round, and we have 4, 6, and 7. I'm sure he wants more. This is not a crazy top heavy draft. it's some cool guys, some good guys that you could get in the mid rounds, especially at, like I was talking about, those non premier positions like running back and tight end and interior O line. But you want more picks in those rounds so you could obtain guys like that. We don't have any. We got a 4th round pick pretty much and a 6th and 7th, you know. So I'm sure either in that 1st round or the 2nd round, Adam Peters is probably going to trade back to get more picks, because 5 picks is just not enough. But at 29, I think it's going to be some guys there that we like, but I don't see us trading, because if you notice, Cincinnati Bengals went up on a price with Hendrickson. First, it was a high 3, low 2. Then it went to a 1. And it's like, oh boy, y'all doing entirely too much. We because on top of that, you got to pay him. You got to pay him too. And oh look, the Browns jacking up the market again and paid Myles Garrett $40 million a year. So I'm not saying Trey Henderson is going to get 40, but he gonna damn sure at least get 30. He can damn sure get at least low 30s. But giving up a 1 and then bringing Trey Henderson for $33, $34 million a year that's a lot. From going to a early 3rd to a 1, that's a lot. Like the Bengals are playing hardball, and I don't think Adam Peters is going for it. I'll be honest with you. So Trey Henderson is probably not coming to DC. So I'm a little hurt behind that, but we're going to have to pivot again.
Let's go around the division, Crevonte, real quick. Super Bowl champion Eagles. They've lost a lot on defense. I'm gonna pull it up in a second.
Yeah.
I guess we can start with the Eagles. Is the gap between the Commanders and the Eagles? Because I think it's a 2-team race. I mean, I don't know what Dallas. What did they sign? Like 2 running backs? What are they doing? What? Like
Nothing.
Javonte
Absolutely
Williams
nothing.
and Miles Sanders. Like I don't even think it's worth talking about. Like I don't think they started yet.
Nope.
And then the Giants.
What was more interesting to talk about is that Micah Parsons and D-Law out here going back and forth online.
Yeah.
That's the news for the Dallas Cowboys. It ain't nothing about free agency. They can't keep nobody. They ain't signing nobody because they ain't got no money. So that's what's more entertaining to talk about, because free agency, they're non-existent.
Did get Javon Holland. I know you wanted to possibly get him with the Commanders. I mean, their D wasn't terrible. I mean, they did, they have Dexter Lawrence and some other pieces, but their defense isn't terrible.
No, that especially that D line is really good. And getting Javon Holland, that helps. But man, I wish I could have known. I wish I could know what are Adam Peters' numbers, because I feel like we were in the running for most of those guys. And I think Adam Peters was like, yeah, I'm not going past this. If they go past it, they can have him, type of thing. DJ Reed, well, I don't know if he was really in on DJ Reed, but I don't know if you heard, but he said that it came down to the Commanders and the Lions. And I was like, if it came down to the Commanders or the Lions, why the hell would you pick the Lions? But that's neither here nor there. I don't know how truthful that was, that we were heavily involved. That's probably he probably just wanted to come to the Commanders. You know what I'm saying? And they went well past his number, because I forgot how much they paying DJ Reed, but they paying him a nice little something. But we was in on a lot of guys though. So Adam Peters was there, but he's sticking to his guns, and I'm cool with it. Oh, this Howie and them?
Yeah. So they lost Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, Isaiah Rodgers, Darius Slay, CJ Gardner-Johnson, and Oren Burks. So they're going to have to draft some players too. And Howie like to wheel and deal too, Crevonte.
Howie's one of the best, if not the best GM in football. And I think even though they lost a lot of guys on the defensive side of the ball, I do think the gap between the Commanders and the Eagles are closing, but offensively, they got it. You know what I'm saying? Offensively, they still got it. I think they are still significantly better as their roster is constructed. Still better, but I do think the gap is closing. Even though they've got a lot of guys that they let go, they gonna get a lot of comp picks, yo. they're gonna get a lot of comp picks. And I feel like Howie knows this. And he's like, I feel like Howie's always playing chess while everybody else is playing, checkers for the most part. Now, my guy Adam Peters, he's damn good at playing chess too, but Howie been doing this for a long time, man. And even though they lost a lot of guys for this year, I don't think it's gonna take long for them to recoup. They picked 2 DBs that started in the Super Bowl and played very well, very, very well. So Howie's no slouch on draft picks as well. So even though they down a little bit, I'm still not comfortable with the gap that between the Eagles and the Cowboys. I mean, Eagles and the Commanders still, but it's closing.
Yeah, I think it's 2 teams in the NFC East, but like you said, the Eagles are going to wheel and deal themselves back into the mix. And that was 3 for 48 for Mr. Reed, by the way. 3 million. 3 years, 48 million. So,
and Charvarius Ward, I think he got 3 for 60 with the
let me see
with the Colts. So I don't know. I don't know how much we were in on him because
3
he
for
came
54.
Oh, 354. Okay. Shot, we could have did that, yo. but him coming from the 49ers, Adam Peters, there's a connection there. But I wish I could know what Adam Peters' numbers are for certain positions.
Real quick, everybody, if you are new, joining us here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. We do this on Sundays, kind of an all-season thing to recap what's going on in the world of the NFL and everything else going on this Selection Sunday. Real quick, before I forget, if you want to get into the March Madness bracket with the Flex Zone, click the link down below. Join our group. It's free, cost you nothing. Just having some fun, doing some March Madness. It's not about who knows the best because anything can happen to March Madness. I'm sure Crevonte can attest to it, but join the Flex Zone. Let's have some fun and do a bracket. Crevonte, I got a poll up about who are the best remaining free agents, and this can kind of really tie into what we can finish with. I'll throw some names at you, and I'll pull them up on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
We got Amari Cooper still available. Obviously, Asante Samuel Jr., Aaron Rodgers. We talked about Cam Robinson, offensive tackle. Stephon Diggs coming off a major injury, wide receiver. Tevin Jenkins, former first-round lineman. Calais Campbell, the veteran. Azeez Ojulari, former Giant. You mentioned pass rush. Jameis Winston. Russell Wilson. Charles Omenihu. J.K. Dobbins. Zadarius Smith was released by the Lions. Crevonte. Justin Simmons still available. Stephon Gilmore. Kaiser White as well. And Rasul Douglas. Elijah Moore. Brandon Sheriff still in the league holding on. Former Washington Redskin. Keenan Allen still holding on. Julian Blackmon. Tyron Smith. Mike Hilton. Jedrick Willis. And Nick Chubb. So those are some guys still available, by the way, if you didn't know.
Man, I you know what? I was thinking maybe a couple weeks ago. Go back up a little bit. Go Brandon Sheriff. That's our guy. We drafted him, and he was pretty much an all-pro guard for us. Listen, I would love to bring Brandon Sheriff back. He wouldn't cost a lot of money. He plays interior offensive line. Sam Cosmi is going to be out. I don't think he's going to be back for week 1. He may miss the first 4, maybe 5 weeks, depending on how his rehab goes. I would plug Brandon Sheriff right back in the right guard until Sam Cosmi comes back. But I don't know what his number is, and I don't know what Adam Peters' number is, and maybe even if it's worth looking into. Is Jair Alexander, is he a free agent?
Well, he is still technically under contract, I believe. So he would have to be a trade candidate, but he could be included in this. Trey Hendrickson, guys like that as well. Obviously, Cooper Kupp also recently signed this week, which we'll get into in a second. But so those, I guess, are free agents, but they're still on the team. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Zadarius Smith, I wouldn't mind picking him up maybe a little bit later because he's sitting there for a reason. So I think he's a good pickup maybe later. Stephon Gilmore, I think he's a little long in the tooth. I don't know how much he got left in the tank, so he's probably going to be there for a little bit. Rasul Douglas, how old is Rasul Douglas?
31.
risky, lack of speed. Yeah, he's already on the wrong side of 30. I don't know. Elijah Moore is interesting. Why is nobody taking a flyer on him? He's only 25. So what's up? What's up with him? Like
Maybe off the field, like we always say. Is it something off the field?
It's something because he's not even in his prime yet. So it's interesting why he's still there. Keenan Allen's a little long in the tooth, but he can still help somebody. But I think we should. I want to kick the tires on Brandon Scherf. I would like to kick the tires because he left from the old regime. So I would definitely kick the tires on him.
Well, let's just get into the free agents as we see who's basically signed. We kind of talked about most of these guys, and they kind of a lot of
Williams
guys.
cashed in. Williams cashed in.
Yeah. Do you like that move? You like that move for the Patriots?
I like because the Patriots had money, yes, and then they needed players, so they ought to have spent that money. So yes,
we kind of alluded to it last week. Sam Darnold linked to the Seahawks. It works out that way. Clint Kubiak connection. He's their new guy. Basically gets a Baker Mayfield deal. How do you feel about that, as well as adding Cooper Kupp with him, 3 for $45?
You hit that on the head. You said he would get a Baker Mayfield like deal, and he absolutely did. Wow, the Seahawks have really changed. Oh, in one offseason, they went from Geno Smith and DK Metcalf to Cooper Kupp and Sam Darnold. My gosh, it's gonna be interesting. I don't think that moves the needle much for Seattle. First year, Cooper Kupp, I don't know much he has left. Njigma's my guy, Ohio State, but I don't think Seattle that moves the needle much for Seattle. Either one of these moves, I don't think it moves the needle much.
Probably still 4th place in that division, right? I think Arizona's maybe ready to take San Francisco's spot, possibly. We'll see.
Yeah. So and San Francisco lost a lot of guys too. And now they're pretty much Brock Purdy about to get them under the gun. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have to pay him, pretty soon. So you know what paying a quarterback does to your roster. So yeah, that's gonna be tough. So wow, the Cardinals could possibly be number 2 in that division. Is kind of interesting.
Yes. Yeah, I know. Get your blue solo cups out in the great Northwest. And they got a lot of picks. They got 10 picks, Crevonte. I did see this as well. They got 10 picks in the draft. And they draft pretty okay. I think they draft pretty under the radar. They draft okay. Absolutely.
Like I say, in Jigma, they had a lineman. Was it Cross that went there?
Cross, our boy Cross, yeah. Cross. Yeah.
So they can wheel and deal. They could make some moves with that. When you got more than 7 picks, you could wheel and deal and move around a lot. And they got 10. So let's see what they do as far as maybe trading back or dabbing back into maybe they could be a candidate for us to trade back into the first round at 29. Maybe somebody falls that they, that may like. It's a lot of guys at the end of the first round that they're probably maybe second round. I'm sorry, first round grades. But is it worth going back into the first round for the Seattle Seahawks? Listen, they need some guys. They definitely need some guys. So, but 10 picks, they could definitely move around.
A first round, 2 seconds, 2/3, a 4th, and 2/5. So, and from some of these trades, so they can really hopefully have a quick rebuild if that's where it's going to end up being. But Sam Darnold,
you said they got 2 2s. Come on,
so
y'all.
they got
trade us 29 and give us those 2 2s, y'all.
Number 50 and number 52, Crevonte. So basically back to back. Then number 82, then number 92, then 137, 172, and 175. So their first 5 or 6 picks, you getting quality players.
Listen, if y'all trying to get back in 29, give us both of them 2s, y'all.
That'd be something to look forward to. I'll be intrigued to see what they do come draft time if they hit on it. They get DeMarcus Lawrence, not a great player, but he can help.
Yeah, he's definitely on the other side of his prime. So and they signed him for a 3-year deal. I was like, ugh, yeah, Didn't see that, but hey, man, he got the bag, all for it. And apparently, he's not because he can't win a Super Bowl in Dallas. Not that he's going to win a Super Bowl in Seattle, but hey, it is what it is.
Yes. Oh, I think that was the major thing. What do you think about Russell Wilson? Where does he go? You think he's just kind of? And they
Sheesh,
got
man.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling too. That's not a bad pickup either to help out.
No, it's not. Nope. So yeah, they're pretty all right. They probably need to pick up a couple more linemen on the O line, and Seattle will probably be all right, but they're still I think they're still 3 or 4 at best in that division. But Russell Wilson, my gosh, you know what? With all the Aaron Rodgers news, I forgot that he wasn't picked up. Even Justin Fields got a home before him, which is interesting. Where could Russell Wilson go? Because I don't want to necessarily just throw him into a backup role, but guys are kind of solidified. Can he go to like?
Well, they said he's talking to the Browns. He visited the Giants. He visited the Browns.
I just was thinking Cleveland, but I was like, that's weird to go from the Steelers to the Browns. Not that the Steelers care, but how many jacked up quarterback positions are there? Like how many organizations have quarterbacks that's like we absolutely need a quarterback right now and are willing to get an undersized past his prime quarterback. And the Browns, oh, man, we were just talking about them getting a dual Carter. I think they're going to get a dual Carter because I don't think Shedeur Sanders is going. I don't think that'd be a good idea for them to pick a Shedeur Sanders. Because I think I'm almost talking myself into Cam Ward going first and Abdul Carter going second if the Browns have to stay at 2, and then Shedeur going to New York. But it's in the best interest for the Browns to talk up both quarterbacks and make the Giants jump. And they could possibly get more picks and still get Abdul Carter. But I think that's the pick for the Browns. So quarterback is still very much a need. I guess Russell Wilson, but again, not moving the needle much.
Jordan Mason sent to the Vikings. Chiefs re-signed Juju. Just some lower level moves. Mekhi Becton, speaking of somebody reviving their career, remember him in the draft, battled some injuries. He goes to the Chargers with Rashawn Slater. Remember Crevonte? They got a good offensive line.
Yes, they do. And big, and you know how Harbaugh like to run the ball. He like big guys. He like the big guys in the trenches. So that's actually a perfect move for the Chargers and Mekhi Becton. Listen, I think it's something wrong with the Jets. The Jets, when people leave the Jets, they just go on to thrive, man. I don't know what it is. Geno Smith is able to rejuvenate his career. Sam Darnold able to rejuvenate his career. Mekhi Becton able to rejuvenate that. Like, that's not by accident, man. It's something about the aura in New York that's not good.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Terrible.
It's crazy, man.
Yes. Joey Bosa to the Bills. Did you like that move for Vontae?
I think it's similar to like a Von Miller move when they picked him up a couple years ago. He's gonna be a rotational guy. He's not what he once was. But he, like I say, in situations he could probably still cause some damage. But it's an okay pickup for the Bills. We were in the running for him too, but I think his number was too high.
Kareem Hunt back to the Chiefs as well. Nice little pickup for them. He had a good year.
Oh yeah, yep. The Chiefs got a I guess the O-line is probably something the Chiefs should look at moving forward. But they still got our guy Creed at center, and they picked up the young boy from San Francisco at tackle, and they let go Tooney. Tooney is in Chicago.
Yes.
So they got to address the interior of their offensive line probably, and then the Chiefs will probably be right back where they always are.
Yeah, I think that is the main gist of the free agency aspect. It's like the first wave, Crevonte, goes crazy, and then it kind of slows down getting into the draft, and then you see the draft and maybe like that post June 1 cut and signing period where people have to give up competition, things like that. I know you may touch on this tomorrow with your Goofy of the Week, but yeah, the DeMarcus Lawrence, I was trying to find it for you. DeMarcus Lawrence and Michael Parsons, they got to pay Michael Parsons, man. He's about to be broke off. And also, Monty, I didn't know if you know this. I just actually found this out maybe like this past week. TJ Watt entering the last year of his deal. Remember, he got paid big money a couple years ago before the season. He was threatening to hold out. He's due a free agent contract after this year, but he's not a spring chicken anymore. He's over 30 now. So what are the Steelers going to do? They need a quarterback and to pay potentially the best pass rusher in the game. He saw what a boy in his own division got, Myles Garrett. He's looking at Max Crosby. He's looking at what Hendrickson might get. And these non-quarterbacks, Jamar Chase. So the Pittsburgh Steelers might have to break out the bank. And, of course, the Cowboys. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. But a lot of pass rushers, man. They don't grow on trees, as you said.
No, they don't. No, they don't. I think, and all of them are in very interesting situations. The Cowboys are going to pay Michael Parsons. It's a matter of how much. They're already in cap. They are pretty much already in cap hell. They have a top 5 paid quarterback, top 5 paid wide receiver, and they're going to have arguably the highest paid non-quarterback in Michael Parsons when that time comes. And you know, I told you guys, I told Dre, hey man, you only could pay 3 guys top 5 money, top 5 at their position money, and Michael Parsons is going to get it, and you already got 2 guys, so it's going to be Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Parsons. Like, they're going to have to restructure. I think they already restructured Dak's contract, if I'm not mistaken, but he's still getting that money. You're just kicking the can down the road. So Michael Parsons is going to get money. The Steelers, how old is TJ Watt? How old is he going to be?
Let me find out. TJ Watt. Let me see.
Because he's still going to demand.
So he'll be 31 in October. 30 right now. He'll be 31 in October. So basically turning 32 going into next year.
And are you going to give him a 4-year deal? Like, are you going to give him a 3-4 year deal at 31?
I don't know.
That's tough. But his production obviously speaks for itself. I think he's the fastest guy to get to 100 sacks, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see. You know what? We'll see how this year goes. We'll see how this year goes to see how they feel about him, because paying him anywhere between in the high 30s, I think that's going to be kind of you putting the Steelers in a weird predicament, especially if he get like let's say like 15 sacks this year, because he just 2 years ago he led the league in sacks. So if he get 15, 16, 17 sacks, the Steelers are going to be in a very interesting position.
Your boy Zacchaeus with the Bears as well.
Man, that hurts, man. That one hurts. Listen, the Bears offensively are going to be better. They are definitely going to be better. And listen, at that 10th spot, I would not be surprised if they pick up Genty.
Okay.
I would not be surprised, because he's probably going to be there at 10. And that offense would be crazy. Like, they got guys on the outside. They picked up 2 linemen in Tooney, and I think I forgot the other guy that I think they picked up for the Rams. They got Romo Dunze and Caleb Williams, and then Genty. My gosh, offensively, the Bears have never seen an offense like this ever. and then Ben Johnson calling the plays. Offensively, the Bears could be crazy. It could be crazy next year for them if they pick Genty at 10.
Well, Crevonte, it is Selection Sunday. How are you feeling? I know some of us may not, keep up with college basketball all season, but everybody knows what March brings, and we'll be having some fun a little later, probably live on here, talking about the bracket. But Selection Sunday, anything you're looking forward to? Anything that people need to know, and tell them about what we're doing with the bracket.
So you put out a couple things on the chat as far as the bracket. I think you put up one for CBS and one for ESPN. The ESPN is probably going to be
it's like iPhone, Android, Democrat, Republican. You got to do these things for everybody. So we are people. We love the people, so we try to accommodate.
Man, we're going to be inclusive. We're absolutely going to be inclusive. I don't care what's going on in the world, in this country. We are going to be inclusive. All right. But Selection Sunday is even if you don't keep up with college basketball, and I have not as much as I used to. But I am keeping an eye on Maryland, and I am keeping an eye on Duke, just to figure out if we were correct in saying like, hey, Maryland's going to be a 3 or 4 seed. That's going to be interesting to look at, and matchups and things like that. So really keeping an eye on our local teams and our rivals as well. That's most what will be at least I will be looking forward to. But it's always an exciting event, so it's going to be cool to check out.
Yes, check the link. It's pinned in the comment section on YouTube. Join it. That's the ESPN. It's easiest to access. So go over to ESPN. Join us. We got a CBS one as well, but we'll be on there. Flex Zone Podcast, Flex Zone Madness, the bracket challenge for the Flex Zone. Who will have the best bracket? We don't know. It's not about who knows the best. I sit up here and watch every game, but I could probably do the worst. So who knows? Every year.
We do this every year, and it's like
maybe as many as 14 SEC teams. Crevonte. It sounds like college football.
Yes, absolutely. It's SEC. They find a way to corner the market, and continuing to corner the market. So that's gonna be interesting. And in football, they went from it's pretty much gone from a Power 5 to a Power 4, because I think the Pac-12 is pretty much
non-existent.
It's pretty much done now.
Yeah.
So I don't know how the Pac-12 is doing. Is that still a thing in basketball? I'm not sure.
It is. No, because USC, UCLA, they're in the Big Ten now. So yeah, I don't think it's a thing. I don't think it is.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy to think about, right?
Yep. So if you're gonna take out a Power 5, where they gonna go? You know what I'm saying? So I'm not surprised that SEC is finding a way to continue to dominate.
Okay, so the Pac-12. Let me look it up real quick. Hold on. Let me see. It's in 23. Okay, so let me see. Does it say what they're doing? Okay, let me see. I don't know, because I know it's weird now. I know they still have different, or they put different teams. I don't know what the heck they're doing now. It's so weird. It's so weird.
It's hard to keep up with. And as a school, just because a team goes it's not all athletics that move, right? It's just like football or just basketball. It's not necessarily all your athletics just because the football team moved. So it's weird.
Literally looking on the website now, because now I want to know. I'm like, okay, so it looks like they have some teams. They got Oregon State. They have, is that Washington State? Yeah, I think Washington State. So I guess they got some teams. So it's just probably not 12 anymore.
It's probably not 12.
Whatever that means. Yeah, we'll see.
I guess, yo.
Another Sundays with Crevonte, in the books, Crevonte. Letting people know what they need to do if they're watching this now or after the fact. And what can they expect tomorrow? We're back at it again, episode 482.
Man, listen, man, I can't even keep up with the number, man. I know the number keeps going up, but whatever number you say, I'm just going to go with it. Like, subscribe, comment. We love engaging. We love engaging with our people. Shout out to Big Reg. Was it Katie Nation? He was up here. Katie Nation. Of course, Raj. Folks is in here. We absolutely love engaging. So like, subscribe, comment. Tomorrow we have our flagship podcast where we all come together. I guess we're definitely gonna talk about goofies. We're definitely going to continue to talk about free agency, and of course the Selection Sunday. That's what we're going to talk about, and you're gonna find something you like here. Whether it's wrestling, basketball, football, baseball season is coming. That's week. Is it in a week?
A week from this Thursday, Crevonte.
A week, right? So
they start in Japan this week. Actually, they actually got 2 games in Japan: Dodgers and Cubs. So there you go for the old time.
Look at baseball. Look at baseball getting international. Look at them. All right. Well,
I mean, the best player is Japanese, so it makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you'll find something you like, whether it is wrestling, we do AEW, and I feel like you guys do. We do wrestling at least a couple times a week, couple streams a week.
Yeah, it's like up to 4 days now.
Yeah. If it's not Sunday or Monday, it's wrestling. That's what I feel like is going on. But
And this week, Crevonte, they're on at 3 p.m. because they're overseas. But with Netflix, you don't have to wait to tape delay, so you get it early. So we'll be happy hour wrestling tomorrow. John Cena's back, Crevonte. He will answer for his diabolical actions. So first time hearing from him.
he's a heel.
Apparently he has hair now. He got his hair back. Remember, he was going bald. So it's a lot of heelish things going on, as we say.
Interesting. So you love storylines, you love wrestling. This is the place for you. You're gonna find something you like on the Flex Zone podcast because we constantly, every day, give you sports how you want it when you need it.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Dylan in the chat, Wrestling the Pod. Go subscribe to him. I'll actually be joining him today on his podcast in a few minutes. So go over this channel. You'll see me on there, talk some wrestling with him, showing some love to the good brother. He is home and feeling better, so that is good as well. We'll be here later, doing some Selection Sunday stuff, trying to figure out the logistics. We'll probably do a bracket, see what teams are, the matchups, break it all down. Of course, Maryland, the local teams, Duke, the SEC teams, and so much more. What players we're looking at, who some of these lottery picks, where their teams are, guys you need to know, teams you need to look forward to, some coaches, some black coaches who are doing some things in their first or second year. So look into that. We'll be later for that. Hit the bell, subscribe button, vote on the poll. If you want to super chat us, you can. Check out all the other content on the channel. And Crevonte, I will leave you with the final word to sound off on this third episode of Sundays with Crevonte.
Hey man, I like what we're doing, and we're gonna keep on doing it, especially during the off season for football, which is still not really an off season because there's always a story or two to talk about. So I want to thank everybody for joining us, tapping in, and all that good stuff. And we will continue. We'll continue doing this, and also keep your eyes out for the our draft profiles. And we gotta get a mock draft or two in, Byron. Definitely gotta find a way to do that. But
maybe next week we'll see what this week brings because it's slowing down a little bit. Maybe next week we'll play around with it. Maybe a little 2-man. Maybe Commanders and Ravens. We do something, play around with it, see kind of how the mock draft can work out. Maybe we do something fun with that. We'll think this week, but maybe this week we'll probably have some draft profiles coming your way. Like I said, I did start watching some people. The safeties, I've watched 2 safeties. I like them a lot. Just to let you know, Mr. Card, I like a lot. So we're going to be working this week. Probably starting with some defensive guys. Look for those draft profiles. Boxes.
Oh man, and I got look over the list I sent you because the brother from South Carolina,
Nick Emenwari, yes.
Oh man, if he's there at 29, I want us to get him, man. I ain't gonna hold you, man.
I think he might be the first safety taken, Crevonte. I think he might.
If he's there at the end of the first round, damn trade now. I want him because we need help in the defensive backcourt, defense as a whole. But we haven't had a legit safety in quite some.
There are a few though. I know you got a list, but there are a few more. If you need a couple names, I can give you some because there are a couple guys that are early second rounders, possibly too. You got Xavier Watts who played at Notre Dame. I think there's a kid at Iowa. So there's a couple guys we're gonna look forward to. But we'll work it out. We'll get some previews out starting this week and through the rest of the draft season into the Green Bay draft starting April 24th.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Lambeau.
Interesting. No, Raj, you can't get him. You good. You're all right. Kyle Hampton's enough. You stole Kyle Hampton. It's like, nah, we did that.
Yeah, he's like another Kyle Hamilton. So that's scary right there.
Big guy, rangy, and make plays. And he's very violent. So he reminds me a lot of Kyle Hamilton.
Well, we appreciate you guys on Selection Sunday being with us. We know we got some conference championship games starting and getting ready to start. Selection Sunday begins at 6. The co-founder, Crevonte Bay, captain of the Goofy ship. Got something goofy, send it to him. We'll be here tomorrow with the Flex Zone Podcast, episode 482. You'll see us tonight with the Selection Sunday. You may see Crevonte again tonight. Raj will be with me. D might be with me, so we'll have the whole crew here. Flex Zone Podcast, Crevonte, only place giving you sports how you want it.
When you need it.
God's favorite host, and Crevonte Bay. This has been another Sundays with Crevonte right here on the Flex Zone Podcast, your home for all of your sports needs each and every day. And we appreciate you for being here. Crevonte, as always, a pleasure, my brother. We'll do this again real soon.
Absolutely. Maybe tonight, maybe throughout the week. It don't stop.
Yes, sir. We appreciate everybody being here. Make sure y'all join the bracket. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, vote on the poll. We out of here, y'all. Have a good Sunday. We'll see you a little later. Peace.